Hello.
So we've got this is QPCS Team 1.
Hello.
Our lovely judges. So we've got Grant, who is head of art. We've got Mark, who's one of our creative directors. David, who is one of our founding partners, and Sabrina, the lovely strategist that you've already met.
Okay, welcome everyone. We're Queen's Park Group 1. To achieve our ideas, we became a focus group and we shared experiences of when we related to the consumer truth. And we came to the conclusion that each of us had experienced a situation in our lives where we weren't in control.
So for our team, the consumer truth means to us the household chores. You're feeling you wanted to escape them, you're feeling that they're unfair, and you're feeling that parents occasionally make their children suffer for their own lack of organisation or laziness. It can also mean GCSE subject choices. Children are not fully in control of which choices they want to choose, and they don't have the freedom to change them. It can even mean studying. School demands that children have to be at lessons at certain times. It doesn't allow children to decide how or when they want to learn. It can even mean the uniform. Again, the school will decide what children have to wear, and food at lunchtime. The children have to eat what the school provides for them at certain times. If children did have control, what would they change? What would they improve and what would they keep the same?
What does brand truth mean to us? Parents and students aren't aware of what Kitbox is. Kitbox is stylish, customizable, and accommodates students' needs. It also gives students a platform to exhibit their pride in our school. Kitbox is one step closer to giving students independence, control, and identity.
So our campaign was centred around classical school paradoxes. For example, schools promote individuality but often stifle self-expression. And we'd like to break this trend through Kitbox. Rules. We looked at all the rules that are in place at home and at school, and we came to the conclusion that we are independent young adults and we can take control. Change. We wanted to change these rules and approaches to businesses with the help of Kitbox, which allows us as students to take control. We looked at some radical approaches in history through quite powerful historical figures, for example Martin Luther King, Gandhi or Fidel Castro, and we decided what we wanted was a revolution.
Our interpretation is of a revolution. Kitbox will be a revolution because it makes you the boss. It has allowed our students to feel in charge of something. It was important to us. By having a revolution at QPCS, we were able to spread the word around regarding Kitbox. Students were curious about what Kitbox actually is and why we're making a revolution in school. This has shown students that they are their own CEOs, as we promoted the right to be able to make your own decision regarding school, chores, another important decision you will be able to make yourself. As we have been making a revolution within our school, it has allowed our target audience to be part of this after watching our advert. It will inspire them to take control and make powerful decisions. We highlight Mark Zuckerberg, Richard Branson and Bill Gates to emphasize entrepreneurs who revolutionized business thinking to take control of a business market.
So this is our mood board. We used bold, simple colours to evoke a feeling of power. The imagery we needed to use had to be easily recognisable and symbolic to reflect the fact that anybody can be part of our revolution. To create interest in our campaign, we created an iconic image of a fellow student that evokes a sense of change. We used these posters to drive people to our webpage and our web store where they could purchase our Kitbox products.
An example of a marketing technique we use can be seen in this ad, which will be running on a loop via a multimedia screen. We aim to get people talking about the Kitbox revolution, and much like there's an Arab Spring, we think it's time for a Kitbox Spring. We link this back to our brand truth, which is to promote individual control. Holding the protest at school was proved to be effective because students were approaching us, asking about the protest, which gave us an opportunity to explain Kitbox to them. We as young people know how powerful a tool multimedia is to appeal to the teenage market, which is why we also created a viral video to be shared by the students at our school.
8 AM to 3:30 PM, class, attention, rules, regulation, lesson, break time, lesson, homework, classwork, work hard, hard work, pass by 1 mark, fail by 2 marks, go live. Are you really in the job? Bill Gates, net worth $81 billion. Mark Zuckerberg, net worth $34 billion. Richard Branson, net worth $4.8 billion. Alan Sugar, net worth $1.5 billion. What do they all have in common? It's time to revolutionize your life through Kickbox, because you are the CEO of your own life. So start making the exact decisions today. Be boss, be Kickbox, be revolution.
In the video, you can see a Kickbox hoodie being worn by one of our Kickboxers who took over the head teacher's office with prior permission. The message we aimed to get across was that you don't have to be of a certain age, a certain level of experience, or a degree of education to take control. And through Kickbox, you can take control now. The screens at our school, not all of them have sound, so we could also create a text version which can be shown on these screens throughout the school, and they're also compatible on mobile devices, so students will be able to have them on their phone in school, but not during their lessons, of course.
We have gathered some responses deliberately from different groups of people. The responses have helped us to test our proposition and understand two things. First, are we really making a change? And second, do they understand the aim of our campaign, i.e. to revolutionize the way you can approach your choices?
Behind me is all the channels we use to broadcast our revolution. Our favourite methods include direct advertisement, such as posters and flyers, social media, and word of mouth.
To conclude, our team has worked around the idea of revolution, which has helped us to make a change in the way we decide things. As students, we feel pressured by teachers and parents to do what they think is best for us, and we thought as a group it's time to make a change. Our group successfully highlights placing the student at the centre of their own choices by asking them through Kickbox to take control. Revolution.
Do you think people understand what Kickbox is from the... Are you assuming that everyone knows what it is?
Kickbox is kind of already explained to the younger years.
So they wouldn't be... They know?
They have an idea what Kickbox is, yes.
So you didn't feel that there wasn't so much needed, we saw the hoodie in the video, but to show a little bit more of, you know, what was being sold, you know, what products there were.
Well, Kickbox has been going on for a few years, and each year they sell even cities to the younger years, so they already have an idea or understanding of what Kickbox is. So it's kind of been clear to them that this is what we're doing.
Yeah, and from the protest, when kids ask us what are we protesting about, we gave us a chance to tell them about Kickbox as a whole, and also the emails that went around to the year group tutors. So they told the younger years about Kickbox and how to support us as well.
So it was like an awareness thing to sort of make people think about Kickbox, and then, you know, sort of like re-engage with the products that were for sale that they knew about.
Yeah.
I think that's what specifically were you asking people to do? Because you've said here get involved and you've directed them to social media places, but if the ultimate objective was to get people to buy the product, how did you make it clear to people that that's what you wanted them to do?
Well, the campaign was about making children realise that they can be their own boss through Kickbox, and the idea was to get them to buy our products, and then if everyone has one of our products, they can be seen as someone who takes control. So that's how we get them to buy our goods.
I thought as a sort of as a concept, the idea, you know, taking you're the boss, coming to revolution from that was it's a really good idea. And what I thought was really good is that you got revolution as your idea, but then you started to sort of think, okay, so when there's a revolution, what are the channels that are used in a revolution? So protest and social media. Storming the headmaster's office was revolution, and all those things. I thought was really, really nice, because what you'd done is you'd made a leap from the proposition to something that was much more dramatic and more exciting, and then you'd follow that. You'd say, okay, this is a revolution. What would a revolution do? and then used those sort of channels and those tactics, you know, propaganda, sort of imagery and posters and leafleting and everything like that to sell that. I think that, you know, I thought that was a sort of really smart way of thinking and a smart approach to it.
Thank you.
I like the way you had the twist on revolution as well with the you, so it was like a personalisation. It just felt that a revolution can naturally feel very big and potentially not relevant to me, but I felt that by putting the you in there, and I think that could have, you know, as you developed it, that could have been pushed further, but there was a really nice personalisation to quite a big movement.
I struggled a little bit, so to speak, with the small negative thing is a lot of the communication was focusing on the net worth of incredibly wealthy individuals, whereas I thought at the start you had the chart with Gandhi and the idea of a revolution doesn't always have to be monetary, does it? So that was my only thought was really strong.
I kind of wanted to see almost like, and I suppose this would be a next stage, but how your thinking around, you know, that idea to promote Kitbox would lend itself to the actual design of the products and what you did within the products as well, because wonderful graphic language for revolution and that sort of thing. It would have been kind of quite interesting. We're quite interested to see, okay, so how does that approach sort of almost influence, you know, the design and the sort of light of some of the products that one does and everything like that.
Excellent. It really helps to get.
Yeah, and very nicely presented.
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.